Welcome everyone to Pinfalls and Passports. For those who don't already know, this is a podcast for people just like you, those who love the sport of professional wrestling, and for members of our WWE Travel Community Discord server. If you're not a member of the WWE Travel Community, come join one of the fastest growing pro wrestling communities online. You can find the Discord link here in our podcast bio. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Pinfalls and Passports and on TikTok, Pinfalls_Passports. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to this podcast to keep up with all things involving the wacky world of professional wrestling. My name is Mirah. This is Pinfalls and Passport. And today I am joined on this AEW recap episode with...
What's up, guys? Daddy Dome here. How we doing?
Hey, y'all. It's Dorkchop. I seem to have wandered into an AEW episode.
Thank you for joining us today.
So happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. It's been probably around 3 weeks, so we haven't been doing a recap for AEW, but a lot has happened. This I would consider life post Full Gear 2025. So I would say this episode will go in, give you guys the Full Gear quick recaps. We'll go into the major, I guess, events that spill over from Full Gear into the end of quarter 4 with AEW Life, and that'll carry us into the 2026 year. Full Gear, did you guys watch?
Of course I watched Mirah, and sorry I haven't been here for a few weeks. Sorry everybody that we've been a little bit quiet on the AEW front. I have just moved house, so that's taken me a while to get stuff over and get my little setup going again, but we are back, hopefully bringing you regular content. But yeah, I watched Full Gear. Good show, good fun show, and yeah, I'm all caught up on AEW and can't wait to talk about it.
Right. Dork, did you happen to watch it? Or...
I did not happen to watch Full Gear.
Okay.
I've been watching Dynamite and Collision sporadically,
Okay.
but I'm up enough on what's going on to be able to talk to most of it.
All right, awesome. No, that's perfect. So Full Gear, I was there. The crowd was packed. I think they packed up the arena. They definitely packed it out. It was a lot of fans there. I enjoyed it. Scarlett enjoyed it. Josh Superman, he also enjoyed it as well. I think there was a few other people there, but it was a really good show. So Full Gear, the state of the Don Callis family, they went 0 for 3 that night. Okay, we start off the night. It was Okada, Briscoe, and Hachishiro going for the CMLL trios titles. But guess who didn't come out when everyone else came out? Okada. Because he needed his grand entrance.
Of course he did. Of course.
He came out after the pyro because, they spilled over from 0 hour into the main card. He wanted to come out once the fireworks came out. But Okada and Takeshita could not see eye to eye during that match. Honestly, truly, there was points where I thought they could capture those trio titles. And then it was just like, okay, the egos. So that match, I kind of expected it to go that way since there's a bigger story there for them. But it actually surprised me that they lost this one. I felt like they could have captured it.
Well, of course they could, because you've got 2 of the best wrestlers on the planet, right, and Hechicero in that team. So, I reckon without Hechicero, they could probably beat those 3 guys. But yeah, surprising in a way that obviously we know it's to build this story, and I'm glad they're taking their time with it. They're not rushing it, which is good. And yeah, we've seen more rifts, more little problems. I think the only question is now is who is going to leave the Don Callis family? Is it going to be Okada or is it going to be Takeshita? And I've got no idea, but I'm loving it.
Next on the show, we have new men's tag team champions in FTR. Aww. They are now 3-time AEW men's tag team champions. Brodito, they're an amazing tag team. I give them their props. Brody King, phenomenal work. I want to see him and Bandito stay together a little bit longer. And if we are going to elevate Brody, I want them to go off of this momentum. The same thing with Bandito. He is a real one. He did not kick out of 1 finisher, 2 finishers. It was 3 or 4 to put him down. I felt like that was phenomenal. How he went out at the end, it was just like he's going out with a bang. But no, all props to Brodito overall as a tag team. FTR are new tag champions. do we foresee where this story is going?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure even AEW made them. I feel like it makes sense, especially when it's a tag team that's sort of put together sort of on the fly, and then they have sort of a lot of success very quickly. That the thing is to do is them against each other. But these two guys are too lovable, right? I think we're still enjoying the wholesomeness between Brody and Bandito. We don't want to see them sort of split up yet. So I think they're sat on the fence about this. I don't think they want to have them go bad guys. You know, that I think this tag team, Bandito, has just elevated both these guys so much that yeah, we don't want to see them turn. Brody King is way too nice a guy to be a bad guy at the moment. I think everybody knows it. He's just a genuine good dude inside the ring and outside the ring. So they can't turn him heel. And Bandito is just on the absolute run of his life. And this guy is just incredible. So no, I don't think they can do anything to turn them heels, either of them right now. But I'm on board for that. I'm happy with that. Keep Bandito. They can go and do their own solo bits, that's fine, but let's not have them do the old trope of one of them has to go bad guy.
Yeah, rather than like shake hands and like, you know what, it was great, let's start our own separate paths, we can always reconnect again. I don't want it to be an ugly breakup. Hopefully and once they do come back on screen, it'll be like, okay, good.
100%. And there's a big title up for one of these guys. Surely Bandito, he's got to decide probably something like the TNT title or the national title, something like that along the road. And at some point, we'll probably see him come together, sort of one-on-one to fight for that kind of title, and that's how it should be. But yeah, fair play to them. They had a fantastic run. I wasn't overly surprised that FTR took the belts this time around. I don't think they could afford another tag team title loss, and it's just taking it off in a different direction, and it's interesting. It's got some good stuff going on AEW right now.
Yeah, and FTR, I think they mark this as their legacy run, if I'm not mistaken, or something along the lines of that. So I think we're going to see a lot of like classic matches out of them coming soon, honestly.
100%.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, and while we're on that topic, let's talk about their next title defense that they've got lined up. The Gun Club, out of nowhere now, seem to have a new leader in Juice Robinson. I guess that means that Jay White's going to be off the shelf for an awfully long time, and they've just decided, oh well, we're going to have to crack on without him. And we've got a face version of the Bang Gang at the moment going against FTR. The crowd have warmed to them pretty well. They're having fun out there. I'm looking forward to this. Is making some interesting programming for those guys straight up against FTR, and I like this little feud they've got going on. I don't think it'll come to much for Bang Bang Gang, but it's interesting stuff. It's fun. I think it all came to a head, didn't it, on, was it Collision this week? When there was this whole thing about don't touch the title, you can't touch the title. And I was like, oh, they know, because they know if you touch the title, you don't win the title. And I honestly believe that they were not going to touch the title. But then, of course, they did finally touch the title and throw them back. And clearly they didn't know that if you do that, you're not going to win. So, oh well.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to take the Bang Bang Gang seriously because I look at them and I see one of the Ass Boys and CJ Parker. So I like that they're doing the whole don't touch the title thing. And then not only that, but FTR just kind of needed to establish themselves as top guys again. So just talking down to them like the next time you're in the ring with us will be the high point of your career. We're telling when he's telling lies, honestly, because he was spitting truth there. And I think FTR, honestly, they could have done without the tag titles. They have that kind of aura, but it's good to get that on there. Back on them because you can't have them take, like you said, Dom, you can't have them taking too many losses. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, interesting stuff, some good promos. Good to see Bang Bang Gang get a chance to go out there and do some stuff, especially those two members of the Bang Bang Gang that would naturally have kind of sat at the back a little bit. So great to see Juice Robinson, especially his personality coming through, because I've been watching Juice Robinson for years, especially when he was in Japan. Really enjoyed the kind of stuff he was doing over there. So good to see him come out of his shell a little bit in AEW. And I'm sure it's going to be a great match in Cardiff. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. It'll be then. Next, we had from Full Gear, Ricochet is our inaugural national champion. I think this is very well done. He's been working his ass off since he's arrived in AEW. And I seen when he was there All in 2024, right? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is where he should be at. He was being displayed as like a talented athlete. I think his heel work has been great. He's the type of guy where you can have him defend that belt in ROH, in New Japan, in an indie show, just to get the eyes on it. He's going to have the heat. He's going to have the athleticism, the talent in the ring. So, I mean, I'm happy with him being our inaugural national champion.
Agreed. I thought it was a good choice, a surprising one. I didn't think, well, I mean, you never know who's coming out with the Casino Gauntlet, and I thought there was a lot of emphasis on this Shelton and Bobby, the sort of start of it, the 1 and 2 coming out right at the beginning. I thought that was kind of how they were going to do it. One of those was going to be the Iron Survivor style that was going to last through the entire match and win it at the end, but no. Ricochet hiding away, doing his heely stuff, comes out after not seeing him on screen for a few minutes, almost like you've forgotten about him, and then he comes in and snatches a win. Good for Ricochet, good for the title, and yeah, looking forward to this little run for Ricochet.
And the crazy thing is, Shelton and Bobby came out 1 and 2, essentially position number 1. Ricochet came out at 3, so it was like, what are we even doing? He's like, I didn't even have to do the work, y'all. I still came out when I wanted to come out. So that was kind of funny to me, but yeah, I'm very happy for him. Next, we have Mark Briscoe. He defeated Kyle Fletcher and has become the new TNT champion. Seeing that in person, the crowd was so behind Mark Briscoe. It's crazy. I enjoyed that match. I feel like that match did what it was supposed to do. They did the little promo for him before he came out, Mark Briscoe. So I was like, okay, if he doesn't win, Tony Khan, you're a jerk off, because you can't do that. You can't do that. Get everybody to tug on the heartstrings and then he does not win.
Yes, you can.
I mean, you can, but you shouldn't do that. That would have been really evil. But no, I was really happy for him. Even in the media scrum, he just was so happy. He was so happy to be there, because I know he said there were some issues with the Briscoe brothers coming to AEW that has gotten worked out. But he's so happy to represent TNT being their champion. I don't know if he'll have a long reign, but either way, his name is in the history books, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. But I did do my silly thing again. I bet against Mark Briscoe in the pool. Now, I thought I'd learned my lesson. I've been on here before saying I'm sick of betting against Mark Briscoe and not winning. So then I picked Mark Briscoe and he lost. And now I went against him again and slapped me in the face all over again. I cannot believe I made that mistake one more time. Absolute idiot. Of course, Mark Briscoe was going to win. But yeah, what's next for Carl Fletcher? Because I was surprised. I got to be honest. I was shocked, actually, that he won. I mean, I wasn't shocked when the match was happening, but we'll get into that. We'll get into Kyle
Fletcher, because he's in an interesting scenario at the moment. But Kyle Fletcher is going to be just fine. I just have a good feeling he's going to be just fine. And I think this was a good way to get this belt off of him. And it does not damage him at all. Honestly, he goes over as like even a bigger scar coming soon. But next, I think this match was actually before the TNT Championship, but Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley. That match didn't have a lot of blood in it, or did it? I think since it was so back to back, it kind of
it did.
To me.
It did.
Yeah, it did. Okay.
It still had
blood.
It was
a Moxley match. Of course, it had blood.
Yeah. Somehow. They still had blood left after Blood and Guts. Yeah.
Right, because I'm like, okay, which match didn't have a lot? But I think it's all a blur. But either way, the fact that Kyle O'Reilly has made Moxley tap twice in less than 6 weeks is crazy. The only thing I'm upset about is Kyle O'Reilly has an injury. I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. I'm really hoping he's back by Q1 of 2026. I want him to stay with this momentum. I just think it's great because now the Death Riders are possibly looking for a new leader.
Yeah.
We've seen the stares from Mina Shafir. We've seen how Pac is very like stoic and stuff. And he comes out on his own. Pac comes out on his own. He doesn't really come out anyone else. Claudio, he is now the CMLL champion as well. He has a championship in the TMLO.
Yeah.
So everyone is winning, gaining these wins, but Moxley. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Dale Garcia even has a championship match coming soon, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, there's so much stuff going on for everyone else but Jon Moxley at the moment. So where does that leave him?
Well, let's talk through that, because you're right. It's a really interesting dynamic. I think we all see where it's heading. It's all been heading towards Mox being kicked out of the Death Riders or having a new leader, and him hopefully disappearing for a while and getting himself off TV and recovering. Now, let's just talk about Kyle O'Reilly briefly. Great that he's had this huge push. Fantastic. Shame that he nearly had to kill himself in order to do it. But here we are. But Moxley, it's interesting. I don't know who the new leader is going to be, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a new leader. This was obviously the first sort of wedge in that relationship around people having a bit of doubt. Marina giving him those funny looks. Puck and Claudio looking a bit sort of disinterested with regards to him. That all is kind of leading in and being shown in what we've got going on at the moment in the Continental Classic. And the really interesting thing about the Continental Classic is the rules of the Continental Classic are that you cannot have anybody at ringside, so nobody can get involved. And the whole thing about Death Riders all along has been that they're always getting involved in order to help John win his matches. And now what we've got is Claudio and Pac in the Continental Classic winning their matches, and we've got Jon Moxley not winning his matches, and they're doing it all with no help. And I think the story they're telling here is that Jon Moxley, you could only ever win with our help. We can win without your help. We don't need your help in order to win our matches. We don't want to be seen as this faction that relies on the other members in order for us to cheat to win. We can win our matches because we're just that good. And I feel that's the kind of way it's going, and it's really interesting. Who's going to be the next leader? I don't know. It could be Claudio. It could be Pac. Pac is looking really hot, and I know Claudio just lost a match this week on Collision, which I was quite surprised about. He lost that clean to, was it Mascara Dorada? Yes. So it's kind of surprised he won that, because that was the first match I've seen Claudio lose for quite a while. And even before the Continental Classic, he had been winning matches on his own without any help from the Death Riders and just winning them clean. And then obviously got the CML title, and he was doing the same here. And obviously, as we know, last week on Dynamite, he beat Jon Moxley clean. So without any help. So interesting to see, but I think the favorite's got to be Pac. What do you think, Chop?
Oh, as to emerge as the new leader of the Death Riders, I think you're right, because Pac is obviously the more charismatic of the two between him and Claudio Castagnoli. And obviously he had that high-profile rivalry with Darby Allin where he actually got the upper hand on Darby, whereas Moxley was losing to Darby Allin. So there's that also. And it took me a minute to just go back and look at all the losses that Jon Moxley has been piling up over the last few weeks. And I'm just like, holy cow. For the longest time, up until he lost the AEW title, he was presented as this unstoppable force. And now it's like he's been humanized. And he's scuffling, he's struggling. He doesn't have the Death Riders to help him out in his Continental Classic matches. He just lost to Konosuke Takeshita on Saturday. And I was just like, holy cow. They're really going to go ahead and remove Mox as the leader of the Death Riders. I'm surprised, and I do see Pac stepping in and taking over.
So, Scarlett, because I know he'll be listening to this, he actually introduced me to Dragon Gate. And Dragon Gate promotion, Pac was like this fucking monster over there. So the thing is, Pac can talk on the mic. Like, he showed me promos that he did over there. He showed me a few of the matches he had. If it's not Pac, the only person I can see it being is Mina. That's it. That's the only one I can see. It would have to be. It would have to be her or Pac. That's it. I think he has it. He has the look. Obviously, he can wrestle. He can talk on the mic. I think he's he just has it.
Yeah.
It seems the right time for Puck. We've always known he's had the wrestling ability. He's been incredible. But he's now been, well, in fact, he's not just been billed as this monster. He is a monster. This guy is huge. He's scary, and he's bulked up. He's strong. He's terrifying. This is a completely new version of Puck that we haven't seen in AEW before. It's certainly nothing like what we saw in WWE. This is a completely new deal with Puck, and good for him. So yeah, I'm all for it. Let's see Puck take over. If they do have a leader, of course, let's see Puck take over the Death Riders and see where we go from there. But yeah, when's it going to happen? Because they're taking their time with this, and I love this for AEW at the moment, because for so long we would see them do stories and they would rush them through too quickly, and they'd all be sort of over and done with, and nobody really cared less, and then it was all forgotten about. But I don't know what it is, but AEW seem to have found this sweet spot at the minute where they've got lots of stories going on. They've got lots of great storylines, and they're just taking their time, and they're just letting them sink in, and they're just letting them go into week over week. They're not finishing everything in a rush at a pay-per-view because it's not sort of quite ripe yet. They're just letting them sort of carry on in the background and just building them up. And you can say that for a lot of things going on in AEW at the minute. And I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Next, we've seen the Young Bucks go babyface at Full Gear, which was actually a surprise to me. I thought they would join the Don Callis family, making them a group of 18 members, honestly. So, but no, they go babyface, they go save Kenny Omega, and they're like, no, we can't see this. And they embrace at the end. That was nice to see. I think it was the right time. I was actually there when they came back as heel at Dynasty earlier in the year. So it was actually great to see them go babyface back in. But no, that was a good thing to see. I think 2026, they'll probably ride the wave. I can see them having a feud with FTR as well. There's a lot for them to do as well. I think right now they're probably going to be hanging around Omega and the Elite probably. So we'll see.
Be the Elite. Yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't surprised. I couldn't see the Bucks joining the Don Callis family when they were there just torturing Omega. I knew they had to step in. They couldn't leave him. Poor Kenny. He already looks like a rabbit that just got run over by a car, bless him. You can't just leave him there to let the Don Callis family just help themselves to the pickings of what's the last remains of Kenny Omega. It was awful. So well done for them. I'm not really sure why they don't still get the money. That really doesn't make any sense to me. They could have still kept the money, right? Yeah.
Dom robbed them. That's why Don Callis robbed them. Okay, they were robbed.
Don.
But yeah, and I think for Young Bucks as well, they're coming towards the end of their career, right? They haven't got a lot of years left in them, and there's a point where people don't want to boo them forever. They're going to want to go out on a high. You know, if they've only got a year or two left, really, or they just want to take a step back for a bit where they're just not wrestling as regularly just to give their bodies a bit of a break, then it makes complete sense. Yeah. And there's way too many bad guys in AEW at the minute anyway, so.
Right.
I think with certifying FTR as like heel, you need another babyface tag team. So I'm like, okay. So you have the Young Bucks go babyface if there is room for a feud in 2026, which probably will happen. It just makes sense because they have a lot of heel like having the Don Callis family, which is like 25 of them, 18 of them, whatever it is. That's a lot of your heels. That's a lot of where your tag teams are coming from. So I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, besides which, you keep saying, like, who isn't in the Don Callis family? I mean, it's getting to the point where it's, like, bloated to the size of the NWO. And at some point, you have to have a cap.
Yeah. Yeah. When Don Callis was out the other day, I can't remember, was it Dynamite? And it was introducing, this is Rocky Romero, and what a year you've had. I'm like, has he really had a great year? I haven't even seen him wrestle a match. What are you talking about? Come on. And Mark Davis just there in the back. I'm just happy to be here.
But I will say, Mark Davis had a great showing. He shut me up at Full Gear though, because he had a great showing in the Casino Gauntlet, and I was very surprised. Like he had a really good showing during that, and I'm like, okay. He's like, don't forget who I am. I'm like, okay, I didn't forget. I know you had a tag team run with Kyle, so
He's really good.
It's really good.
I mean, he's like the Marty Jannetty of that tag team, but he was still good. He was still decent. He just wasn't quite Carl Fletcher level. But yeah, good for him. I'm glad he's doing something. I'm glad he got a job.
Yeah. But then Miss Mercedes Moné couldn't secure the big one.
Shocker.
Chris Statlander. Oh my goodness, who would have thunk? Chris Statlander got her ass kicked during that match. It was 13 or 14 amigos she did during the match. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. I really didn't want Chris to lose because I'm like, she just got this belt. Yeah. She's a AEW original. I think she should hold on to it. I think she should have a longer run, a solid run. And Mercedes has too many belts to think about the AEW Women's Championship. And I think she needed this. I think she needed this L.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think as we predicted, Mirah, this is a start of Mercedes' downfall. The one belt that she cannot quite cross the line for. She couldn't beat Toni Storm for it, and she cannot beat Chris Statlander for it either. And this is where we start seeing Ultimo Moné. Her downfall is beginning, and it's not just this one belt she couldn't get her hands on. She's lost a belt or two, hasn't she, since?
Yeah.
Yes. She lost to Red Velvet at ROH's final battle that happened this past Friday.
How
she is no
embarrassing.
The ROH TV champion.
Dearing me.
Is this the beginning of the end for stack of championships too? I mean, like, how many more is she going to lose? I mean, because once you start, I mean, you can't stop. It's like
I think the only question will be, Dorkchop, is how is she possibly going to lose these belts? Because a lot of these belts are from various countries from all over the world. She's going to have to do a world tour in order to lose them.
And I think the world tour ends in London 2026.
Very possibly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, following week, Mercedes is going to be busy handing back all the belts to all the companies that she's been holding up for the last 6 months.
Yeah. No, I really don't know. I really don't know. I know she has a couple championship matches coming up soon for her other belts outside of AEW and stuff. So I don't know if she starts to lose it then or a little bit later.
So let's talk about the one she's got. So she's got her TBS championship, obviously, and she's not going to lose that quite yet. But she's got the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship, which I guess she will lose just before All In at the Rev Pro show, which would make sense to me. So put that on in your diary for August, if she holds it that long. We'll see. She's got the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. She could lose that pretty soon. She could lose that at Forbidden Door, perhaps.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes, that's when she'll lose it. She'll use that at Wrestle Kingdom. So she'll use that. She'll lose that in the new year, or the early new year. When's Wrestle Kingdom?
January 4th.
4th, is it? Yeah. There we go. CMLL World Women's Title. She could lose that. She could definitely lose that because they're fine on CML sort of semi-regularly, aren't they? Claudia picked up a belt the other week, so it's not too far to go to. The rest of them.
So she has the Owen Hart, but that's not really a belt, so you can really just take that out.
Yeah.
Yep.
She has the Primetime Wrestling Women's belt. So all those other promotions, she can lose them on her shows to to their top stars. She has a belt in Canada. She has one in Poland. She has one all over, okay? She can lose them to their top stars. Okay?
She'll probably just they'll probably just say she lost them in a match in some village hall in front of like 12 people. Nobody was there anyway to witness it. They'll just say that she lost.
Okay, so this is kind of like a Pat Patterson winning the Intercontinental title in a tournament in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Exactly, but it's the opposite. Yeah, instead of winning the title, she's just going to lose them all in these
the
garages.
Footage is the history.
yeah, 100%. I mean, if she won them in the first place, who knows? Yeah. I wasn't there at the recent Bod Slam event, I'm afraid. Didn't quite catch that one. I don't think it was on Fight TV either, so I missed that one.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Oh well. Never mind.
Did she win the Berlin Championship Wrestling?
But yeah. So did you watch ROH then? Did you?
Mirah? Yeah. So I watched her match, and I've also watched Ricochet's match with Dalton Castle.
Wow.
Those were the two I watched. But
that is dedication.
Listen, I had to watch it just to see how it went down, and then I was just like, okay, all right, cool, that's fine. But before we get on to the main event of Full Gear, a match was announced for Eve Wrestling with our champion Chris Statlander against Charlie, formerly known as Dakota Kai. So I think it'll be in March of 2026, but have some feelings that Dakota may be around AEW soon, I hope. I really hope she is around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think it's the International Championship which Chris Statlander has with Eve. Anybody that's listened to the show before knows I'm a big fan of Eve Pro Wrestling. And they are doing a show at the O2, not in the entire O2 arena, but it's like they got like a smaller room, a bit like the Madison Square Garden has that sort of separate, sort of smaller pavilion room, whatever it is. There's lots something like that at the O2, so it holds like just a few thousand people. So they're doing a big show there early next year in London. It's Wrestle Queendom, and I believe that's where they are going to have that match. Chris Statlander, the champion, against Charlie, Dakota Kai. I'm thinking of going. I'm gonna check the dates. I might actually go to that. If not, I'll definitely be going to Eve on All In weekend. Hopefully you guys will be joining me there, but that is the one we definitely have to go to, because I think I took a couple of friends, they'd never been to Eve before, and they were like, that was like the most fun of Forbidden Door weekend. That was like the best show we could have possibly gone to. It was absolutely fantastic. Such a great show. Again, can't recommend Eve Pro Wrestling enough. They're fantastic. Produced by Will Ospreay, but they're the number one women's promotion in the world as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, that's sure to be an absolute banger. But yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah,
no, I'm very excited for that. And then finally at Full Gear, the main event was Samoa Joe versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW Men's Championship. That match, I felt like they knew to speed it up. There was blood that came in, I think 2 seconds after the bell rang. I think they kind of knew. But we had some things coming out of that. We had basically the Ops turning full heel, like okay, this solidifies it. We had Hook taking the men's AEW championship and hitting Hangman over the head, okay? And Samoa Joe takes advantage of that and becomes the new AEW men's championship, or men's champion rather, and we have a return. Who returns? Swerve when I drive,
Whose house?
Swerve's house. Swerve Strickland comes back bigger, better than ever. A brand new theme song. I'm starting to like it. I missed the OG one though, but I'm starting to like it. I like how he has the house burning. It's a little homage to what Adam Page did. So I kind of like that, but I think he's being presented as a beast. So, I mean, I think him and Adam Page right now are going up against the Ops, and that's been their main focal point since Strickland's return. Samoa Joe has a match upcoming this Wednesday, I believe, against Eddie Kingston for the men's AEW championship. So that'll be cool to see. And this is Eddie's first championship match back since 18 months being out. So we'll see how it goes. But Samoa Joe is our new men's champion. I'm very happy for him. I think if he is on his way out the door, which I believe he is, this is a good second run for him, especially as a big bad heel. I think he'll do fine with it. He doesn't need a long reign with the belt, but if he's going to put on bangers, so it'll be entertaining to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, good. No surprise to me here that Samoa Joe was going to win. I felt that he had to take this one, and it made complete sense. The hook element was a bit of surprise. It looks like he was in on it all along. I suppose that kind of sets up this Eddie Kingston feud that Samoa Joe's about to have. But fine, I'm not sure why I needed Hook when they've got an entire dojo of people at the Ops now, apparently. A whole conveyor belt of new Ops talent coming through. But yeah, interesting stuff. And yeah, it's certainly given some dynamic to that championship shit. And Samoa Joe for sure. Yeah, liking it. Good stuff.
Yeah. I was a little surprised to see Joe win, mostly because as a casual AEW viewer, when they announced the steel cage stipulation, I was like, yeah, that's it. No Ops going to get in. He just had Hangman take on the AEW World Championship a couple months prior. I felt like it was a little too soon to take it off of him. But, having Hook turn heel was a bit of a surprise. And obviously, it looks like it's going to be a transitional reign to get the belt from Hangman to Swerve, and then possibly a continuation of that feud. I like that. And also, I'm also a huge Joe mark, so anytime you can get Joe with the World Championship, kind of like a gold watch for prior to his retirement, and as someone who's a chop aficionado, yeah, I like to see a good chop, and so Joe has some of the best chops in the business. And also, I mean, if the more we can get that no-sell spot where he just does the nope and walks away, keep that on screen, please.
Also, I think this heel turn helps Hook as well. I think we had him in a spot where he was just doing a squash tag match or like a random singles match. I feel like having him in the Ops sets up more for him in 2026. So sure. I know I didn't want to see him turn heel quite yet, but I'm like, it makes sense. They have a lot of stories to work through, and I'm very happy for the company overall right now. They are doing great work. I feel like they're getting a lot more eyes on their product, so that's also good as well. But Full Gear, to me, was amazing to see in person, especially Swerve coming back, having the Young Bucks turn face, FTR winning. To me, the match of the night of Full Gear was FTR versus Brodito for the men tag team champions, in my opinion. That was the match of the night. I give them their props, honestly. But moving on from Full Gear, we have our AEW recaps for the last 2 weeks or so. And the big one that comes out of this is the Continental Classic, both the blue and the gold leagues. In the blue league, we have Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, and Masquerado Dorado. And then in the Gold League, we have Kyle Fletcher, Kevin Knight, Pac, Okada, Darby Allin, but is now been replaced by Jack Perry. Darby Allin was injured in his match with Kevin Knight. Now, the ironic thing is, Darby Allin was injured in a normal match. He was not injured in a match where he got thrown off anything, blood coming out of some part of his body, his rib being cracked or some sort. It was a normal match. Kind of crazy to me. And the last person in the Gold League is Speedball Mike Bailey. Those that are carrying the league, I love him, honestly. I love him. But those that are carrying is Claudio Castagnoli with 6 points. We have Takeshita with 6 points. And we have Kyle Fletcher with 6 points right now. Right. So those are our leaders in their respective leagues. What do we see the outcome being? There's a lot of stories being planted in here as well. So
100%. So just for anybody that might be listening that's not really aware, how does a Continental Classic work, Mirah? So we've got these 2 leagues. We've got the Gold League, we've got the Blue League. These are all going to face off against each other, right? And they get like a point system, yeah? A bit like football. You get 3 points for a win. And then once all those leagues are complete, what happens then?
So isn't it like an elimination, essentially? So those with the most points at the end, they then face each other. Then it gets smaller, like the bracket gets smaller, and then there's a semifinal match. And I believe that'll probably be at World's End, if I'm not mistaken. It seems like they want to split the unified belt and the Continental belt. Is that what you're getting from it as well?
I believe so, yeah, because Okada had to, because obviously Okada won last year, right? And when Okada won, he won the
Continental belt.
And the
unified.
He won the unified, didn't he? He won the unified belt. So there were two belts. But he's only in order to partake in the Continental Classic, he had to give up his belt so he could be in the competition in order to win his belt.
Again, obviously if he were to
win it again, which obviously makes complete sense. Because why wouldn't you do that? So, but apparently he's only giving up one of the unified belts. And that's the Continental Championship.
Right, Dork, same. That's what I said. That's because AEW has too many fucking belts. Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'm glad I'm not the only one there who was by that. Like, I get that there's a round robin and you're kind of like playing it like World Cup style for points, and then the group winners go on and into a bracket and then face each other. But then like the whole, like this belt over here to that belt over there, and then Bob's your uncle. And
this is good practice for you Americans because you've got the World Cup of football, and I mean soccer, coming, because it's quite similar to that, whereas you get 3 points for a win, and then after the league table is complete, the top two in each of those leagues go into the semi-finals. The winner will face the runner-up of the other league. So the winner of the blue league will face the runner-up of the gold league, and then the winner of the blue league will face the runner-up of the gold league, and that's the semi-finals. They will then go through to the final, which will probably be, I'm guessing, at World's End, and then the winner will win the Continental Championship. So it's a little bit similar if you ever watch the G1 Climax. It's a little bit like that, slightly smaller.
Okay.
Not quite as long as the G1 Climax. It is in terms of the length that it goes on for, but it's not like every day. Like the kind of like the G1 happens like every single day for like 2 weeks until it's completed, which is just crazy. But yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, there's some interesting stories. I think I've got an idea of where they're going with it, but I'm happy to be surprised. For me, it looks to me like we're going to end up with Takeshita and Okada potentially in the final, and that's going to culminate to that. But who knows? That could potentially be one of the semifinals and be the blow off for that story. It could also be Moxley or Claudio. More likely Claudio, probably not Moxley now because he's not doing very well. But more likely maybe Claudio and Pac could end up perhaps in the final. We get a Death Rider final, and the winner could potentially be the new leader of the Death Riders. So that's kind of my thoughts, but there's plenty of other options. What do you guys think?
I like the idea of a Death Rider final more than I like Okada Takeshita, although Okada and Takeshita are two of the best workers on the planet, so that's always going to be an entertaining match. So either way, I think the fans win in this case, and I'm all for that.
I could see it going either way. Right now, currently, you could see it being even Kyle Fletcher throwing his hat in the ring as well, because he got really close last year. So it could be Kyle Fletcher and Okada. They may hold it off. It could be Claudio and Fletcher. I would be happy with any of the choices that we have, honestly. The match is going to cook. Jack Perry now being in it adds something to there. I don't think he'll get quite far, but still having your name in this, that sees Tony Khan sees you on the rise for 2026, essentially. I think this will be Kevin Knight's breakout. I think this will also show Roderick Strong as well a lot. So I'm very excited to see it. It could be a Death Riders final match, and I would not be upset about it because good point about one of them also not only winning the belt, but being the leader. So I think that would really cook. But no, I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, we could get both. We could get a We could get a Death Rider. We could get the Death Rider story in one of the semifinals. We could get the Don Callis family story in the other semifinal, and the winner of each of those goes against each other in the final. So who knows? Maybe they'll do both. I don't know, but I'm excited about it, and I love the Continental Classic because we're getting great wrestling matches. I like tournament wrestling. And AEW do it just right with this Continental Classic. It's great. They get good time on the matches. And this is not a spit on WWE, because I've got to say, and I know we're going to bit of a tangent here, I've been actually really impressed with the John Cena Time Is Now tournament. I think they've done a good job with the matches in that particular tournament. So fair play. They've given all the matches time. They've been interested, and there've been some absolute bangers. But yeah, I like a bit of tournament wrestling, and this is definitely something going to be able to keep us occupied for the next few weeks for sure.
Yes. Yeah. This one tournament leads us into another tournament. We are now finally at the finals of the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament. I feel like I've been teased with this since fucking July and August. So there's that. We finally have the finals. We have the Babes of Wrath.
The boobs of Wrath.
The boobs of Wrath and Timeless Love Bombs, and I'm very excited for that match. Honestly, it could go either way. I foresee it being the Timeless Love Bombs, though. They could do a lot more with it. Tony has a lot of history, so I feel like if that is the case, she can bring prestige to those titles as being like the new. So I could see it going either way, though, but I would not be upset.
Yeah, I hope it's the Love Bombs. I gotta be honest. I just love the work that they're doing at the moment. I just love them both, and I just think they're adorable, and it's great. And as much as I do like the Boobs of Wrath, Harley Cameron's voice is fucking annoying after a while. So Love Bombs
also,
for me.
I don't know if y'all seen the promo with Babes of Wrath and Timeless Love Bombs. It's kind of crazy how they actually talked about how they got together, the Timeless Love Bombs. And this all came from who? Mariah May. It's all came from Mariah May. So that's kind of funny that they did put that in there a little bit. But no, I'm very excited for this match. I really hope Tony and Mina Shirakawa get the win. It'll be really good for 2026, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And they will be fantastic for champions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, from the actions of Full Gear, Eddie Kingston, as we already stated, will be facing Samoa Joe for the men's championship at Winter Is Coming. I don't see Eddie winning, but it'll be a good match, I believe. I think Joe may kill him. I really don't know. I think
fingers crossed.
I think the ops will come out. Level the playing field and stuff. So I'm suspecting shenanigans, but Samoa Joe will retain. Yeah. Swerve Strickland had a promo, I think, on Collision. So he could even come after the belt at World's End. Who knows? But I don't see Samoa Joe losing. Mark Briscoe is also putting his TNT title up against Daniel Garcia at Winter Is Coming. Daniel Garcia is a former TNT champion. With this new profound confidence from the Death Riders, I could see him taking that belt. I don't want him to, but I can see it happening because they want to build the Death Riders and everyone is getting wins. Claudio has a new belt. I can see that happening there. But we'll see. I think it'll be a very good match, especially with Mark Briscoe. He's going to have the crowd behind him 100%. So we'll see what happens there.
They're not having anybody have their first defense lost on a Dynamite, are they? Let's be honest. But Winter Is Coming. So they're doing Samoa Joe against Eddie Kingston on Dynamite. Winter Is Coming, right? Because and that's this Wednesday. And then Winter Is Coming Collision, which has actually been filmed in Cardiff on the Saturday. So they're doing like the same name, but two completely different shows this time. Whereas they normally do it, it's because they film one straight after the other. But here they're not. They're filming Dynamite in wherever it's been filmed in the States. And then they are doing Collision actually on Saturday. So nearly live from Cardiff, Wales, before going on to Manchester for the following week's Dynamite, which I will be at, so I'm very excited about that, which is the holiday special, whatever they're calling it, something along those lines. And that's where they're doing Dynamite and Collision at Manchester. So they're going to film both Dynamite and Collision that night. And I think that's called Holiday, they're going to call it Holiday Show or Spectacular or something WWE sounding. Something stupid that WWE would call a show just for the sake of it. Yeah, they made it up, like, randomly the other day, I think.
Hollapalooza.
Hey, I like Palooza. I'm picking on Palooza. But yeah, I think Mark Briscoe is against Daniel Garcia, but I think that's on Collision. So I think if you're going to Cardiff show, if you're going to the Cardiff show, you're going to see that match for Winter Is Coming. But yeah.
And then we already talked about this, but the Bank Gang and FTR will be in the UK. I don't know if that's Cardiff or it'll be Manchester because I don't know if they accepted it yet.
I feel that, I think that's going to be Cardiff too. I think they said
Okay.
also that that's the Winter is coming as well in Cardiff, so I think that's that match. They haven't announced a lot for Dynamite in Manchester yet for the holiday show, mainly because they've been pushing on. Winter is coming. That Collision show is going to be stacked, by the way. So if you're going to that
Yes.
Cardiff show, they're putting a load of good stuff, and they're really promoting that this week. I'm guessing they want to sell some more sort of tickets and stuff like that. I guess we're going to get the push for that with the Manchester show for Dynamite. But I will say there has been one announcement for the Dynamite show in Manchester, which is really interesting, and that is we're getting the return of the Dynamite Diamond Ring. So they're going to do the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. So it's going to be the Battle Royal to see, and the winner will get the Dynamite Diamond Ring. But they don't just get that silly diamond ring. They also get a shot at the AEW Championship. So that will be exciting. Any thoughts? No one's been announced for it, but we know there is one wrestler. There is one wrestler who we have not seen in quite a while in AEW that is very good at winning Dynamite Diamond Rings. Do you think if you are going to that Manchester show, we're going to get Maxwell Jacob Friedman? Please tell me it's true. Please tell me that is what's going to happen.
He still has this damn contract. He don't need no ring. He doesn't need it. He don't need it.
He doesn't have the contract, does he?
He does. He still has it.
Oh,
no, he still has it.
With that whole thing. No, anyway, he needs another diamond ring. And he needs to win it in Manchester at the Co-op Arena. Tickets are on sale. I will say they've gone down in price as well. I got some really good 100 level seats by the ramp, which were about 3 times less than they were when I looked at them the previous week, and just managed to get a row of 6 for me and my buddies. So yeah, if you're planning on going to the Manchester show, you put off a bit about the prices. I know you can get some really cheap ones at the top anyway. I think £28 was the cheapest one if you want to sit up at the top. But I got some really decent seats for just £64, all fees included, for me and a group of my friends. So they have come down massively. So they're looking to fill that arena. And
I'm sold.
It's an absolutely huge arena. Yeah, get over, jump on your plane. In fact, just come back with us, Dorkchop, because I've got a busy week of wrestling next week. Because on Friday, I'll be flying to Washington, D.C., for John Cena's last match, and then we get back to Manchester on Tuesday, and then Dynamite is on Wednesday. So I've got a nice, fun week of wrestling.
That is a loaded card right there.
Sure is, and looking forward to catching up with you guys in Washington this week.
Absolutely, looking forward to picking everybody up from the airport.
I'm looking forward to getting you guys your new gear that hopefully will turn up.
Oh, yeah.
Some podcast exclusive merch for you guys that I've got ready to go. Ooh. Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, we'll get some photos on our TikTok and our Instagram for you guys, and then we'll if there's any demand, we'll have to open up a shop. I'm sure there won't be.
Oh, man. If we start selling merch,
wow.
That's the dream.
We could pay for WrestleMania, right? Well, could pay for a round of drinks at WrestleMania anyway.
Gotta love those Vegas prices, huh?
Oh, Vegas. I'll miss you. I'll be watching from my couch.
What? You not coming?
I am not coming to Vegas. I'll be in London now. I'll be in London for All In.
Yes.
I'm very excited. No, but AEW is on a roll now, guys. I'm very excited. They have a lot to go off of. I think how their quarter 3, quarter 4 went this is what they needed. Like I said previously, they're getting a lot new eyes on their product. They know what works for their fan. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I like the storylines that we have. A big long-term story that we have is, the Ox, you have Hangman, you have Swerve, MJF. I know he's doing other things right now. I know he's filming and stuff. So I feel like once they're able to get him back on screen, there's stories to be told there. You have Hook, who is more of like a newer talent, but he has years left. So there's that as well. You have Darby Allin. He's injured, but when he comes back, he's a crowd favorite, no matter what he's doing. Him and his little tights that Allie be saying, him and his little shorts and his tights that Allie be saying. So, they have so many young stars. You have Kevin Knight, you have Speedball, so it's like they have the talent. They have Okada. Okay, so like there's so many things they can do in 2026. On the women's side, you have Chris Statlander, you have Toni Storm, you have Shafir, like you have Megan Bain. They have so much to go off of this end of the year to rocket them into 2026. I'm very excited. But no, I think that does it for us today. We've enjoyed this. Thank you guys for coming on. It's been a little quiet with AEW, so I mean, we had to hop on here, do our little 1-2 step. But no, I did enjoy today. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Mirah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.